Welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Bobby Pominville, and I'm your reporter on the arts. And I would like to promote some choreographers today at the Phipps Center for the Arts. We have 2 performances coming up, but let me introduce them. First, I have Christina Linus, who is the director of the Phipps Dance Company, and Stephanie Campbell, who is the Associate Director of the Phipps Dance Company. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
And I've already talked to Christina once, and I love to promote dance because it's something I admire very, very much. And whatever I've seen down there has been wonderful. So let's talk about your background first, and then we'll get the dates of the show and everything.
Sure.
Christina, would you start and tell us about your background in dance and what inspired your love of dancing?
Sure. I've been a musical theater kid ever since I was 5. So that was always my first interest. And then I started dancing in dance classes when I was about 12. So it went from a musical theater interest into I want to find out more about dance. And so I started taking just dance classes. And that was in Fargo, North Dakota. And I was lucky enough to be there at a time where I got to be a part of a dance school and a dance company where our director was Eddie Gasper and his wife Kathy. And they started a dance company in Fargo because they decided to raise their family there. And so we got the Broadway veterans to come to Fargo and start a company, which I got to be a part of. And Eddie had been the assistant for Bob Fosse in New York for 10 years. So that's the style of dance that resonated with me the most, and that I really appreciate my time there with them. And then throughout college and high school and adulthood, I continued to do musical theater, and I never really started teaching dance till I was about 40. And that was about 9 years ago now at the Phipps. So,
oh my.
So yeah, that's how I got started. And
that's wonderful.
I've been at the Phipps. I couldn't be happier. It's a great place to work. And
we are very fortunate, I know, in the music area too, music and art and everything else, because we have that wonderful center to promote all this. But you know, I'm from North Dakota, and I actually have a cousin who worked at NDSU.
Okay.
And I read your background, and I thought, I had no idea that Fargo had Bob Fosse and these wonderful, wonderful people.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful time to have been growing up and taking dance and be in Fargo at that time.
Makes me very proud to hear that.
Yeah.
Now, let's go on with your various positions at the Phipps. I have trouble keeping track of all that you do. You just finished a show, I know.
Yes, in addition to teaching dance classes at the Phipps, which I've been doing for 9 years or so, I also choreograph for their main stage musicals a lot. And we just finished Shrek, which was with the Phipps Children's Theater, and John Potter directed, and it was a great show. We just finished that. And then I direct the Phipps Dance Company with Stephanie. And what else do I keep myself busy over there, that's for sure.
Well, and almost everything that's related to dance you're in, I'm sure.
Yes. Oh, well, yes.
Because I remember last year that huge production on the Oscars.
Yes, and we have the Phipps Dance Theater. I choreograph for them as well. Mackenzie Lewis is the director of the Phipps Dance Theater.
Yes.
And then every summer we do a big production. This year our theme is the Best of Broadway. So we're going to have
I love that.
Yeah. So
the music will be so outstanding.
Yeah, so that's...
So that's coming up this summer when?
August.
August. Okay, well, I'll be sure I get the dates on this show. And maybe we'll have to have another interview.
Maybe.
I have to, because I won't know all the ins and outs, and I do like to have Mackenzie on the show too. Well, for now, we're going to go over to Stephanie. And you're the associate director, and you've been there a few years, you told me.
Yep.
So what are your responsibilities for that?
As associate director, I do a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
She does everything, actually.
Oh, how nice. Oh, that's great.
A lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, scheduling, working with the guest choreographers, costuming, articles for the newspapers, kind of all the behind-the-scenes things. So.
Well, there was just a wonderful article in the newspaper with a picture.
Yeah.
And you know, I wasn't sure which dance company it was, so like what are the ages of this group?
This group is 13 to 18 years old. middle school into high school for this group.
Yes.
And they auditioned to be a part of the Phipps dance
Oh
company.
yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
So that must be pretty a difficult audition.
It is. We have a large company this year, and it depends on who we have at auditions. We never set the company to a certain size. We just see who comes and see what we think would be best for the year. And
Well, when I read the ages, I thought how delightful. And I bet that's just going to be outstanding. I just have to come. Well, should we move on and talk about those performances?
sure.
And congratulations on your 11th season already at the Phipps. And you have 2 performances. Friday, March 18th, that's at evening at 7:30. And Saturday, March 19th at 2 p.m. I think we might be putting that on our screen too for people to
Okay,
read.
great.
Now, my question is, what is the concept for these performances? What dance styles are you performing and so on? Go into that a little bit and tell me.
What we do, we don't do a concept for the overall show. What we do is we work with guest choreographers. We bring in 5 or 6 different guest choreographers from the Twin Cities or around the area to work with the girls. And our whole idea is to get the girls to be exposed to as many different styles as possible. So this year we've got hip hop, tap, lyrical, ballet, musical theater, a little bit of everything that they don't always get in their technique classes.
Oh.
So we really leave it open to the guest choreographers what they'd like to do. We try not to tell them anything and just kind of let them use their own artistic vision. So it's really open. The show is great because you get to see a little bit of everything.
Oh, I like that.
yeah.
I like that a lot because I think, like if one person, or if I brought someone in, they didn't know anything and they saw ballet, they might be like, oh boy, that's really difficult.
Right.
I mean, I look at that as being one of the more difficult things to teach.
Yep.
But then on the other hand, there's so many intricacies with hip hop and all that.
Yep.
And of course, that's what I see sometimes when I'm watching the Oscars and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a very good idea. And then as far as music, that just goes with whatever the dance is.
Yep. We let the choreographers choose their music. Yep.
So are you saying there's a choreographer for each song or maybe a couple songs?
Yep. Yep.
And then you have kind of overall control.
Stephanie choreographed a piece, and I choreographed a piece, and then we invited
Okay.
5,
Yep. This year we have 6
other
guest
choreographers. Yeah.
Okay, now I didn't know that until I just recently got a mailing from the Phipps. And I saw a lot of names. Are those people that usually work at the Phipps? Like Mackenzie, I know, but I didn't know all the names.
Right.
Yep.
Some of them have worked with us for the show. Last year we had at least Jason, who's doing the hip hop, did our show last year as well. And then most of the other choreographers are associated with us one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we do bring in people that haven't worked at the Phipps before. We try to reach out to people that we haven't worked with and, get more people over at the Phipps. So we try to do a few people we know and then a few people that are new to us and to the Phipps and to our program.
Try to expose our program to a wider audience by inviting people from all around the Twin Cities to participate.
Perfect. Yes, and I hope you get a lot of publicity.
I hope we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're doing really
helps.
well in Hudson, but it'd be nice to see it in the St. Paul paper or the other areas too.
I think it's
because I think the Phipps is just really outstanding in that.
Yeah, and I think it's a really wonderful opportunity for the girls to be a part of a group where it's not competition-based at all. It's just an artistic endeavor, and it gives the choreographers that we invite a lot more leeway too, because there's not a strict certain amount of things that have to be in each dance. As they get to decide what's in it, and they get to help the girls learn more about dance, learn more about expression.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I think it's a really unique thing we have going.
Very high quality show.
And then
are you working with smaller groups of dancers? And then do you have like a big group number, or how do you do that?
Yep.
That is the way you're going to run it.
Yeah, what we do is we always do one full group piece with all the girls together.
Yes.
And then from there we break them up. Because we work with so many choreographers, we take time to sit down and we figure out who's going to be in what pieces.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they are smaller groups.
I see.
For the guest choreographers.
Oh, I'd like to ask you about the group one. I don't know, are you divulging any information?
Sure, we can get you some stuff.
Because I think that's so exciting when they
Yes.
all get together and they're performing, and what a wonderful experience.
This year, the group piece was choreographed by Melissa Huber, who is
I've heard that
worked at the
name.
Phipps for many years
Uh-huh.
and has her own dance studio in town too. She choreographed a musical theater jazz piece to the musical Memphis.
Oh boy.
So it's a lot
don't
of
know a
high
lot about
energy,
that.
high energy, good fun
great.
Motown.
Wow, that will be a highlight, I'm sure.
Yeah, that one is really fun.
Yes.
Then, are you happy in the theater? Do you think that's a good place for the performance and everything?
Yes, actually, they have two nice spaces for dance performances: the auditorium and the black box.
Oh,
both-
right, you've
both
got the
good.
black box too.
Yeah,
So that
so-
is very nice.
Yeah, we're lucky
I
that-
know we've sometimes used that for other things too. It's very handy to have.
Yeah, and we're also happy to have the Phipps Junior Company joining in the program,
Yes.
directed by Mackenzie Lewis.
Yes.
Another group of auditioned dancers, but they're 9 to 13 years old.
Oh
So
my goodness,
they'll
just
perform-
think the ages.
Yeah. they'll-
Just think of that, and I can imagine you must have so much support from the parents and all that.
Yes, and they'll be performing 2 pieces in the show too. So that's
Okay, and I suppose Mackenzie's taking care of that.
yep.
What fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and I have enjoyed her a lot because I've talked to her quite a few times. And I just really admire, like I said, I admire what you're doing there. It's wonderful. So you covered that pretty well. I think what we'll do is we will put on, we better talk about the ticket prices. Would you like to tell us about that?
Let's remind ourselves. It's only $14 for adults and
I can't
12 for
believe
students.
that.
So it's very affordable.
It's one of the less expensive shows I've seen there. I mean, as far as tickets, I've seen everything up to 24 maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is a very reasonable show.
Yes, it is. It's
And
very-
then student prices are
$12 for
$12. So very, very affordable. That's wonderful. And reservations, we'll put this on the screen. But of course, you contact the Phipps ticket office. And the number will be up, 715-386-8409, or online, www.thephips.org. And sometimes I just like to go there to see what they're advertising.
Yeah.
And it is, in this day and age, my goodness, you have no trouble finding anything.
No, you can find
Yeah.
anything online.
Now, is there anything else you want to talk about? You said something about diverse emotions and moods. And that is through your dance styles.
Yes, we have some very creative, wonderful choreographers who, who bring a lot of emotion out of the girls. And each piece has their different mood. There might be a humorous piece. There can be a very serious piece. There can be a little more whimsical kind of piece.
Yep.
I'm doing a tap piece, so there'll be tap dancing.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I've seen you tap. And you're so good at it.
So it's going to be a lot.
I
a
love
wide
that
variety.
throwback thing
Yeah.
because it reminds me of the old movies and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think when I was growing up, there wasn't a whole lot other than movie music and, well, there were some dance movies going on. But I never had the opportunity to have anything like a dance lesson. And that's so wonderful.
It really is a wonderful thing, and the Phipps is a great place for
Really enjoy
all
that.
kinds of dance. So
Now, I was just curious as far as your dance studio, is that up on 3rd? Upstairs?
the upstairs of the Phipps
That seems so small. Do you have enough room up there for everything?
we have 2 dance studios in the Phipps. We have the main dance studio, and then we have the Art Studio 1. We call it also
right.
another dance studio.
Okay.
So we have classes going on in both sides of the building every
Okay.
night.
I see. Because I know I've been up to that one with all the mirrors.
There's 2, yep, we have mirrors in both. One of them
you do?
is used for more than one purpose. They have art classes in there as well.
That's right.
Yeah, so
Wow, and that works out okay then.
2 spaces is really great. We could use another space,
could use a
actually.
third space.
I would think so because I'm sure you're involving a lot of numbers here.
Yeah.
And it's very popular. I know several people who are into it.
Yeah.
And parents of people that are into it, and boy, are they supportive. Okay, now let's talk about, now you mentioned there's a big performance coming up in August.
Now, that's the Phipps Dance Theater. And
Okay,
so that's
so
a
that's the
different
other group.
But it's in August, and it's going to be a Best of Broadway theme. So,
Oh yeah, and I
yes.
love that theme.
So it's going to be a lot of fun too. So
Broadway music is so special.
yeah, and we have vocalists sing
Oh, yeah.
between songs and things. So
Yeah.
it's a wide variety, very entertaining.
So are you planning any other performances for 2016? I know I'm kind of falling into the fall now, but I don't know if you are that far ahead.
Not yet.
For the Phipps Dance Company, this is our big concert in March, and then they also do in the Phipps Dance recitals.
Yes.
In May, they will
Oh,
perform
I
a
knew
little
there
bit.
was something in May.
Yeah, that's for all the people that take dance classes at the Phipps to get a chance to perform what they learned that year in their classes. And the
Oh,
dance
my.
company will perform a couple pieces in that too.
And is that like a 2-day?
It's just a one long day.
One long day.
A very long.
Yeah.
Are the performances at different times of the day then?
Yeah.
Yep, the children's classes have a performance at noon and a performance at 2, and then the teen and adult classes have a 4 o'clock show and a 6 o'clock show.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That is perfect.
All
I
day
can't
that
imagine
Saturday.
your numbers there.
Yeah,
Must be massive.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It certainly is because it's very
Growing every year.
Every
The
year.
program grows every
So
year.
May and August, I have to keep that in mind. And then, of course, you're always doing choreography for the shows there and that,
Yeah,
depending on who's involved and
right.
whatever. And a lot of the shows call for dance.
Yeah, the big musicals and
Yes.
yeah. So we'll see.
Well, they do, adult musical once a year, I think?
Depends on the year. Some
Okay.
years it's a big musical. Some years it's just a big event of a play. Like this year, in November into December, it'll be a Christmas Carol. I know that. So
That's
yeah,
typical. I
yeah.
think.
That'll be a good seller. I know some.
Oh, yeah, that's always very, very
yeah.
popular.
That time slot is sometimes a musical, but this year it's a Christmas Carol. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
All right. Well, I always can't wait to see what musical it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because that's something I love. Mm-hmm. And I used to do on a much smaller scale at elementary school.
yeah.
But not much dance. I could have used a choreographer. Wish you girls had been there then. Well, anyway, here's a fun question now.
Okay.
What is your favorite style of dance?
It's hard to pick,
Oh,
isn't
that
it?
is hard to
Well, you could pick more than one.
I'm partial to the old school jazz along the lines of the Bob Fosse musicals.
Oh,
and
yes, and you with your background.
so that is probably, I would have to say my favorite dance style is jazz, musical theater jazz. Yeah.
I think that's probably pretty difficult from what I view.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always impressed at what you can do with that.
Yeah, it is more difficult than people
It
think.
is.
Yeah, it's its own. Yeah, so that's
So, yeah, I can understand that. That's a very, very popular one. What about you, Stephanie?
I would say I probably lean more towards lyrical and modern.
Really?
Yeah, that would probably be my favorite.
So elaborate a little on that. What do you mean by lyrical and modern?
Just something that's not quite so structured. There's a little more leeway in it.
Okay.
Where, like, if you go into jazz, it's a little more rigid on what things you're going to do, and lyrical and modern opens it up. You can really do anything you want, whatever you feel like. So, yeah, it's a little
Sounds
broader.
very
all the dance
interesting.
styles have ballet as the base, the main foundation, and then they all go their own way about how they use that foundation. So
Really?
even tap, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've always thought of ballet as being so technical, so difficult to achieve.
Yeah.
It is.
But you do have some leadway in what you do and in responding to the music.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you move it into lyrical, would be taking that ballet technique and opening it up a little bit.
Okay.
Taking a little more leeway with it.
Now, is there going to be a little bit of that in this show?
Stephanie's
I
case.
looked at the picture of the paper and I thought, wow, that
Yeah, we've got a few pieces. We've got a contemporary ballet, and we have 3 pieces that would be considered lyrical to modern. So, yeah, so we have a little bit of that in there.
And Stephanie's is one of those pieces. So
well, that's
exciting.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got me hooked. I'm definitely coming.
Yeah.
And I know it fits my schedule because I've already checked it out. But I do want to promote it because I want other people in the area to be able to realize that they have a chance here to see a really outstanding performance.
Yeah, it is.
And I just think it's a major part of your year.
It is a very major part.
So-
And to see that people that age putting their heart and soul into an art form is just, it's very moving, and it's a really, it's an hour and a half well spent.
Yeah,
for
it
that.
is.
I think
It
it's
is.
just wonderful. Now, I
Yeah.
just thought of this, but I thought, what about, do you have any backgrounds or do you have any type of artwork or?
For the stage,
Yeah.
for the most part, it's an open stage, and we use very particular lighting for
Oh,
each different
yes.
piece, you know, and each mood for
I
each piece.
see.
So our lighting designer is a very important part of our show. So, but there is not a lot of set pieces or anything in this. It's more
No,
of
and
an
I
open
could
stage.
understand where that might be a little distracting.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and we see a lot of that with the musical. So,
Yeah.
so I think,
That's for sure.
you know, you're really focusing on the dance.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's what you want. That's perfect. Oh, it's really fun to talk to you girls about this. Have we forgotten anything about the concerts, the performances, I should say?
I think we've covered almost everything that
Well,
I can.
I definitely have to have you back.
Okay,
Because
great.
I do want to promote your wonderful company here, and I do want people to be aware of other performances going on this year.
Great. Thank you very much.
I
Really
hope you will.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for coming today. I've enjoyed this conversation with both of you.
Yes, thank you.
And I do want to thank our audience for watching too. I hope you call the Phipps or contact the Phipps and get in touch for that March 18th and 19th performances, because I think you'll really enjoy it.